Hello everybody and welcome back to the next series I will be predicting in the NBA playoffs, now with the Eastern Conference semifinals. So as you guys know, I previously made a video going over the semifinal predictions in the Western Conference for the NBA playoffs, and I was waiting until today so I can do the Eastern Conference predictions because the first round matchup between the Cavs and the Magic hadn't been completed yet, and I wanted to make the video going over both Eastern Conference semifinal matchups together. But anyways, without further ado, while I waited to make the video, let's just get right into the video and the predictions I have for the Eastern Conference playoff semifinal matchups. Now, in the first series, I will be going over the first one out of the two is the 1-4 matchup between the 1-seeded Boston Celtics and the 4-seeded Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, Cleveland, this could be the last time you see Donovan Mitchell in a Cavs uniform. Maybe even Darius Garland. I don't know what's exactly going to happen with Cleveland after this season. But looking at it, I do definitely think that the Celtics, they are the favorites to win. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Cavaliers pulled it off. I know Jared Allen is battling with injury. We don't know when he'll be back. He missed the last 3 games in the first round. I know the Cavs, they had to go 7 with the Magic. The Magic, tough team. Banchero going to get his credit. But I don't know, the Celtics, they do definitely look great with favorites. The only problem with the Celtics I have with winning is, I mean, I've never said this on camera, I've said it before, definitely at like my school and like with friends. I just don't trust those two guys on the Celtics. They're two superstars kind of in the playoffs, Brown and Tatum. Brown, come on, I know people are going to make jokes like Brown has no left hand, he can't go left. I mean, he's been able to make some shots with his left, like layups and stuff like that. And I know Tatum hasn't been the most clutch, but I mean, they are still the Celtics. They are still the number 1 seed in the East, 64 wins. Derek White has been playing amazing these playoffs, actually. We don't know when Porzingis will be back. Holiday, the Bucks shouldn't have done that Dame trade if they knew Holiday was going to end up on the Celtics. And I think the Bucks could use a guy like Holiday this season. Now, I'm not saying anything bad about Dame on the Bucks. Dame and Giannis, great duo. But they kind of did disappoint this season. I know Giannis wasn't injured, but yeah, anyways, enough with the Bucks being eliminated. I can make a video discussing like what's next for them later, but now looking back more into this Cavs-Celtics series, it's tricky because I'm kind of going back and forth on this. Who will win? Who won't? Will Brown and Tatum show up? The role players for the Celtics, they've easily been showing up. Can Holiday and White, great defensive duo, be able to stop Mitchell and Garland? I don't think Mitchell's going to have himself a series. He might have to carry the load. Mobley, will his defense be enough to help the Cavs? But I don't know. I've been looking really into this series about the matchups because the Celtics, their thin bench might be able to be costly because especially considering we don't know when Porzingis will be back. And I think I'm just going to end up going with hot take. Upset alert. I'm going with the Cleveland Cavaliers to win this series in 7 games and move on to the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't know. I feel like the thin bench is going to hurt the Celtics, and I don't know how Tatum and Brown will be able to perform. I mean, if they do, like, all my fault. Like, I know, like, I could take the blame for this about why they ended up actually, like, proving people wrong and being like, oh yeah, they are clutch. They're capable enough to win in big-time situations. They've made it to the conference finals every year except for 2 years in the past 7 years, but I'm pulling off the upset and taking the Cavaliers to win this series in 7 games. And now the last series I'll be reviewing for the conference semifinals for the NBA playoffs, again in the East, is the 6-seeded Indiana Pacers and the 2-seeded New York Knicks. A bit weird that I said it like that, but no matter. And I'm just going to end up having to go with, I'm not going to get to prediction anyways, I'm going to break down both teams. Knicks, I know they don't have Randall, they've still been playing amazing basketball this in the playoffs, and I don't know, because Brunson is actually getting help from the supporting cast. He's getting help from Anunoby defensively. He's getting some help from Josh Hart on the defensive end. DiVincenzo's been knocking down some shots, and the Pacers, they kind of looked a bit rusty in that Bucks series, especially when they didn't have Giannis or Dame. Halliburton was looking a bit rusty. He could be questionable looking right now. He might have a questionable back injury. Siakam the first 2 games was playing amazing basketball, I think leading the league in playoff scoring. But I was gonna say the Bucks kind of figured him out because after the first 2 games, Siakam, he wasn't putting up the crazy numbers he was the first 2 games when he had a back-to-back 36 and 37-point game. But I also feel like the Pacers' inexperience might hurt them. Like, I know Toppin had a great Game 6 to close out the series, and the supporting cast, they were knocking down their shots in the Bucks series. But again, I feel like if Giannis was playing in that series, I think the Bucks would have beat the Pacers. But having to look at this series with the Knicks and the Pacers, I feel like it's just going to be Pacers. I don't know, because they might struggle just looking how they played previously without the Bucks with Giannis, and now they're playing a better team in the Knicks, and I don't think they have enough to contain Brunson. I definitely do think Siakam's going to have an amazing series. Halliburton, he could be depends on how he plays the series, and if they can be enough to push the Pacers over to the hump. But anyway, I am going to be rocking with the New York Knicks to take the series in 6 games and move on to the Eastern Conference Finals and play the Cleveland Cavaliers. So my full final prediction is that I have the 4-seeded Cleveland Cavaliers taking on the 2-seeded New York Knicks for a chance at the NBA Finals next series. But I just definitely do think like the Celtics, it will come down to how they perform with KP, depending on how bad he ends up his injury being, if he comes back or not. Derek White will probably end up doing some crazy Derek White stuff and then get overrated by the media saying, oh yeah, you should have been an all-star, you should have been an all-star, stuff like that. But looking at the other series, looking at that, Knicks, I feel like Brunson's going to be a bit too much for the Pacers to handle. But I do think Siakam's going to have a terrific series against the Knicks. Raptors fans, how do you feel about seeing Anunoby and Siakam battling it out for a playoff series? And let me know in the comment section below. But anyways, that's all I have for the Eastern Conference semifinal predictions. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, and I'll be back with more videos. Take care.